Live from the historic Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles, it's the 11th Annual American Music Awards. Scheduled to appear are Brian Adams, Air Supply, Alabama, Debbie Allen, Deborah Allen, Greg Allman, Razzie Bailey, Angela Bofill, Laura Brannigan, Yul Brenner, Irene Cara, Richard Carpenter, Phil Collins, John Conley, Earl Thomas Conley, Culture Club.
6-yard line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It was Fran McDermott. Zach Seifert was down to make the stop. A 43-yard punt by Jerry McGrath, a 6-yard return. As you take a look at the Saskatchewan offense led by quarterback Joe Pow.
Pat, we had the opportunity to do the Saskatchewan-Hamilton game last week, and Craig Ellis, number 33, just had a super ball game, both running and catching the football. I'm sure he'll be very active in their offense as well today again.
They give to Greg Feger, and Feger bowls his way for about 3 yards. Hit by the right side. Willie Hampton, number 62, moved up from his linebacking spot on that side. Incidentally, Leif was talking about Craig Ellis. As you take a look at the Saskatchewan receivers, and you'll note that former Ottawa Rough Rider Marette Ford has joined the Saskatchewan Ball Club. But you were talking about Craig Ellis. He's carried for 205 yards, and he's only played 2 ball games, so he's been effective. Stu Fraser with the catch at the Montreal 25-yard line. Reliable little Stu from the University of New Brunswick picks up 19 yards. And Saskatchewan has the first down of the ball game. Harry Skipper, the cornerback on that side, number 26, was there to make the hit.
Well, it was the patience of Joe Pow just to wait till everything opened up. Fraser finally comes open over the middle. What a nice touch he put on that ball to get over top of the linebackers.
First down, Saskatchewan at the Montreal 25. Pow to the end zone, just off the fingertips of the intended receiver, and that is the very speedy Sammy Green.
Looks like Sammy Green maybe injured himself a little bit in the end zone there as he dove for that football. Watch as number 17, Preston Young, actually overruns the play, and Sammy Green had a good chance at coming up with that touchdown catch. Once again, just not able to squeeze the ball in, but a pretty good throw, nevertheless, by Joe Pow.
And still down in the end zone is Sammy Green. That would be a severe loss to the Saskatchewan Roughriders because Green was so impressive last week against the Hamilton Ticats in that 27-27 tie. Matter of fact, Sammy scored 2 touchdowns in that game. He has 8 catches after his first 2 contests. As you look at, well, you've called them maybe the best offensive line in Canada.
In fact, the last 2 years, they've won the award for the offensive line in the league that gives up the fewest sacks, and they're an all-Canadian group as so many teams from CFL employ, and they do just a heck of a good job pass blocking for their quarterbacks. Conversely, that's the line that they'll try to prevent from getting to Joe Pow. Doug Scott back this year after knee surgery where he missed the whole season last year, and a new fellow that I know you like, Pat, Steve Rocky, who is from Holy Cross, and he is their main pass rush guy, the fellow they think that can get in and put a little pressure on quarterback Joe Pow.
Well, defensive coach Wally Buono said that he graded out extremely well last their opening game against Hamilton. So Rocky, of course, has to deliver every game. When you're a rookie, that's what you've got to do. You've got to be there game in and game out. Otherwise, somebody's going to take your job away. Let's see what Rocky can do here this afternoon. He wears sweater number 49.
And he'll always go to the wide side of the field.
Second down, Saskatchewan. Pow. Complete to Tim Kearse. He's stripped of the football. That should be a fumble. And it will be ruled as such. The Concorde will come up with the ball. Phil Jones is number 8. Let's take a look at this one again. Tough break for Saskatchewan.
Well, newcomer in the defensive backfield today for the Concorde is number 8, Aaron Hill. And he does an excellent job covering Tim Kearse all the way coming across the middle. There you see the extreme hit on the blitz that Joe Pow took. But watch as Aaron Hill strips that ball loose, and that's a big break for the Concordes picking up that turnover.
So they have the ball at their 20-yard line. First down, Montreal. The give is to number 30, Dwayne Wilson, and Wilson picks up maybe a couple of yards. Rick Goltz, number 63, was there to bring him down.
That's a pretty good front four that the Saskatchewan Roughriders have, and I think the Concord are going to have difficulty running against them. Of course, in the Canadian Football League, really the key is to throw the football. There are those fellows we talked about, Rick Moore, Matthew Teague at the ends, and Rick Goltz, who just made that play, newcomer Jeff Roberts.
Turner Gill's pass was intended for Jeff Patterson, but nowhere near him. So as he did against Hamilton, Turner Gill comes out and is a little bit shaky at the start of the ball game.
That was not a good throw. The first one he did complete to Ronnie Robinson. Of course, penalty nullified. That was a good throw. That time, he seemed not quite sure. Ron Robinson and Jeff Patterson both pretty close together.
Marette Ford is back to receive this punt along with Fran McDermott, and this will be Ford from his 35. This kid can fly. However, there was excellent coverage by that Montreal special teams, and they drop him right at the point where he caught the football. It's scoreless. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, there's a look at the Western Conference standings, and as you see, the Edmonton Eskimos have surprised everybody. They've jumped out in front. But, of course, that could change this afternoon as BC plays in Toronto. Saskatchewan, the only club in the Western Conference without a victory so far, although they do have that single point off their tie with Hamilton last week. And Montreal, the only club in the East without a victory. That could change this afternoon. But Ottawa, at the present time, leads Hamilton by a point. From the 35-yard line, Joe Pow drops the football, and the Concord have recovered. Doug Scott with the fumble recovery for Montreal, and those are back-to-back bad breaks for Saskatchewan.
Well, it's hard to understand how this ball ever comes loose. Joe Pow apparently just stepped away from the center too soon, and what an alert. Doug Scott to come up with that fumble. Here's another good look at it, but the Concord, 2 breaks in a row. Let's see if they can capitalize.
First down, Montreal at the Saskatchewan 31-yard line. Turner Gill scrambles to the 25, but there was a good job defensively by Saskatchewan. They bumped the receiver, Ron Robinson, coming off the line, and consequently, Gill had nobody to throw the football to.
That's quite true, Pat. The Saskatchewan secondary is really trying to be more physical this year, and there's a good look at it right there. Fran McDermott working on Ron Robinson. It appears as though McDermott took the worst of that, but he threw the timing off enough.
It's second down and 5, and the give is to Terry Lyman, number 24. Now, Lyman gets in close to first down territory before Steve Johnson, number 17, hauls him down.
You know, Leaf, one of the things happening with these two clubs is the fact that there's a lot of pressure on them. There is pressure on management in Regina. As a result, that's transferred by the coach Barry to the players, and there is certainly pressure on the Montreal Concord, a team that was expected to do very well, who came out and had that poor game against Hamilton. So now they've got to show they're much better than they showed in the Hamilton game. And it appears that both clubs are a little bit nervous.
That's quite true, Bill. At the beginning of each season, you know, both teams do a marketing job and tell their fans they brought in new players here and there and expect to have good seasons. So until you get that first win under your belt, I think everybody's a little edgy.
Well, they've got to go for it right here. When I say they, I'm talking about Joe Gallat and his Montreal Concord. It is 3rd and inches. The ball is just outside the 21-yard line. Gill keeps it himself, gets to the 20, and has the first down. So the Montreal drive, which began with the fumble by Joe Pow, recovered by Doug Scott, will continue. Well, they've got to put this one in the end zone if they're going to have some kind of a season, I think, Leif, because it would be a confidence builder. Doug Scott, whom you see on your screen right now, was telling me this morning, he said, we know we're a good football team, but we'd like other people to know it too, and I guess the only way they can do that is to have an impressive win here today. The toss goes to Dwayne Wilson, and Wilson gets to the line of scrimmage and not much further. Eddie Lowe, number 42, the linebacker, is there to bring him down. Montreal is playing very conservatively. I'm surprised that they haven't thrown the ball more this afternoon, but we're still early in the first quarter with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left to play. Play action fake, and now Gill is in a lot of trouble and will not get it away. Jeff Roberts, the newcomer from Tulane, 6'3", 235 pounds, is in there in place of Rusty Olson at the defensive tackle spot, and Roberts makes the big play.
He sure just blew right through there, and nobody really picked him up. Turner Gill never had a chance to set up and try and look downfield. Excellent defensive play.
Well, they've knocked them all the way back to the 36-yard line. So that's a loss of 16 yards.
Always nice to, when you have an injury, bring a newcomer in, and he starts early in the first quarter with an excellent sack.
McGrath is punting on 3rd and yards. And gets it out of bounds. Now let's see where they mark it. It'll be somewhere around the 16-yard line, so they just barely got back to the line of scrimmage. It's still scoreless. Saskatchewan and Montreal. We'll be back in just a moment.
Jerry DiTilio is the bullpen man in the quarterback corps. Jerry, what are you trying to do offensively, and what do you think you can do against this club?
Well, right now against the win, we just want to keep control of the ball, get some first downs, and we can't get a touchdown to get our offense going, because we've been off for a couple of weeks now, and it's very important we get things going quickly.
And it's very important for Joe Pauw to move this football for Saskatchewan. His toss goes to Craig Ellis, and Ellis could not get outside. Good contained by Willie Hampton and Vince Faison, 62 and 18.
Well, Fred Fleming, our isolation director today, captures Willie Hampton, who's probably one of the most active linebackers in the CFL. He just scrapes to the outside, a good read, and makes a nice tackle on Craig Ellis.
And as a matter of fact, Ellis, who has 205 yards coming into this ball game, ended up losing a yard. Ball is at the Saskatchewan 8-yard line. Pauw's pass, no good, looking for Stu Fraser just off his fingertips. Preston Young providing the defensive coverage, number 17. That's the kind of catch Stu Fraser normally makes. He's a very reliable receiver, doesn't have great speed, but you normally hit him in the hands with the ball, he's going to come down with it. So now Dave Badowich will have to stand in his end zone to get this punt away. And Jeff Patterson awaits at midfield. Well, they ruled that he stepped out. He did get to the outside, and he felt that he was still in bounds. He was not, and as a matter of fact, they'll place the ball at about the Saskatchewan 48-yard line. It was a 47-yard boot, a 6-yard return. And next Friday night on the full CTV network, the Hamilton Ticats, who really took a pasting last night from the Ottawa Roughriders, will be in Calgary. And, of course, the Stampeders are smarting from the licking they took from the Edmonton Eskimos. So that'll be a good ball game, and we'll have it for you here on CTV. First down, Montreal. They've had good field position the last two occasions. Give us to Dwayne Wilson. The flag is down as Wilson breaks it all the way inside the 25-yard line to the 23. But holding will be the call against the Montreal Concordes. The 24-yard gallop by Dwayne Wilson will be nullified. And of course, as a head coach, those are the things that just drive you absolutely crazy. You see a big play wiped out.
Holding, Montreal number 50, first down.
Roland Mangold, right guard, is assessed the holding penalty.
Well, Pat, you can see right here, Roland Mangold, he got caught. He grabbed onto that foot, and that's the second penalty that's hurt the Concordes on the drive.
So it is 1st and 20. Montreal back at their 51-yard line. Gill sets up, fires over the middle. It is complete to Dwayne Wilson, and Wilson crosses midfield to the Saskatchewan 53-yard line. Billy Jackson, number 45, was there to bring him down. So they get back about 7 of the yards they lost on the previous play on the penalty.
So many teams like to use this kind of play. Just let the linebackers drop and bring a receiver underneath, and usually picks up 7, 8, 9 yards every time.
2nd and 13, Montreal. Needing a big play, Turner Gill fires it down to Brian DeRue, and he has the first down, and that's the big play we're talking about. Montreal down to the Saskatchewan 36-yard line. Fran McDermott hit him immediately, but DeRue picked up 21 yards on that reception.
Well, that's a great job by the Concordes when they can pick up a first down after 1st and 20, and the experience of Brian DeRue to find an open spot and just wait for the football, be patient.
That's his 5th catch of this young 1984 season. Gill again had to get away from the pressure. Now puts it up for grabs, and it is picked up by Jerry Friesen. Well, there, of course, was a ball that should never have been thrown. That's the inexperience of Turner Gill, but Roberts and Matthew Teague really had the pressure on him. So when we come back, Saskatchewan will have the football at their 27-yard line. We will be back in just a moment.
Well, Pat, you said it, and you were absolutely right. A ball that should have never been thrown. Looking for Ron Robinson. What a nice play by Jerry Friesen to go up and kind of clear the boards, as we say in basketball, to come down with that ball.
Jerry, of course, playing because of the injury to Ken McEachran. And he comes up with the big play that gives Saskatchewan the football at their 26.5-yard line. We're still scoreless with 4:50 left in the first quarter. The pass was complete to Sammy Green, but he took a lick from Harry Skipper the moment that the football got there.
That's good to see Sammy Green back in the ball game after what appeared to be a leg injury. And watch the hit by number 26, Harry Skipper. He led the Eastern Conference in interceptions last season, and he just unloads.
The injury, you're absolutely right, Leaf. It was to the knee, but not serious, as you can see.
The pickup by Sammy Green was 7 yards, so make it 2nd and 3, Saskatchewan. Pow's pass is caught by Stu Fraser, and they rule inbounds at the 45-yard line, so that'll be a first down, Saskatchewan.
Well, Pat, a guy that you certainly have liked over his brief career with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Stu Fraser, and Pow really stood in there tough to get that ball away. But here's a look at Stu, and very dependable guy, knows where the first down markers are, and make sure he stays in bounds, make the catch first, and that's a nice job.
First down, Roughriders at their 45-yard line. They set up the screen, and the moment that Stu Fraser tried to turn to get upfield, he ran into Ken Cianconi. But at least he caught the football. He might have been better advised not to catch it, but he was getting set to turn it upfield, and Cianconi was right in his face.
This fellow had just an outstanding college career at the University of Nebraska. Well, who could forget that great Orange Bowl game they played last year against the University of Miami?
But, you know, as he talks to Joe Galat said, isn't it amazing? Here's a kid who has played, you know, before hundreds of thousands of people, but he said he was playing against boys. Now he's in against men, and there is a difference. The pass is complete to Sammy Green, who then takes the hit from Harry Skipper, but hangs on and picks up about 8 yards. Let's see where they spot him. They're going to spot it short. They will. They'll be about 1.5 yards short of the first down. And so Dave Badowich is in there to punt.
Pat, for the life of me, when you've got 2nd and 11, why a receiver stops 2 yards short of that first down marker, I can never understand it. And, you know, it's inexcusable. If I was Reuben Berry, I'd be having a quick chat with Sammy Green.
Well, I think the reason some of them do it, Leaf, and who would know better than you, is because if the yard marker is at 11 yards, it's a lot easier to catch it at 10, isn't it? Because that guy is not going to give you that extra yard, but that's your job, and you're absolutely correct.
You mean you never did it, Leaf?
Well, maybe once. Why do you guys always
It's amazing
pin me?
amazing, Leaf, how perfect everybody gets when they get up in the broadcast booth. Never missed a pass, always with 10 yards.
Well, some of us are, though, of course. Jeff Patterson, who can really fly for the Montreal Concorde, is back, seeing if this punt is going to come to him from Dave Badowich.
It's Willie Hampton. It's hard to determine where they're working on. Some were in the leg, and It's an extremely hot day here in Regina, and I think it could be cramp time for some of these players.
What a beautiful afternoon. It really is. And a crowd of somewhere around 25,000, I would suspect. A lot of football coming your way. Hamilton is at Calgary. That's the Friday night CFL game. Then Ottawa plays in Montreal next Saturday. We'll be there for that one. And really looking forward to it because I think that Ottawa with George Brancato, again, have another thrilling, exciting ball club. That should bring the fans out to the Big O in Montreal, and let's hope they do because the Concordes deserve the support, and Ottawa is a great attraction.
Of course, the next day you and I will do that Edmonton game in Toronto as well. And
boy, congratulations to Jackie Parker and his staff. Jackson has really got them cranked up in Edmonton. What a game they had on Friday night. Jeff Patterson allows this ball to bounce in the end zone. And now it rolls back towards the Roughriders. Patterson goes down, and no flag is down, so the single point is picked up by Dave Badowich on a 57-yard punt. 1-0 Saskatchewan as we go to Bill Stevenson.
All right, Willie Hampton, now you've got a bit of an injury, but apparently nothing serious.
No, it's nothing serious. Just, I guess it's pretty warm out here. We got a little bit of a breeze. I got cramps in my calf muscles, but I'll be okay.
Let me ask you, they talk about Saskatchewan tough. Is this a tougher club that you're playing against this year than it was last year, do you think?
I think it is. I think it's a much tougher club. They basically got the same offensive line for the last couple of years, and those guys are real big and strong, and they have good people in different from last year. They're a bit stronger, I think, from last year.
First down, Montreal. The ball at their 35-yard line after that 57-yard single by Dave Badowich. The give is to Dwayne Wilson, and Wilson picks up about 5 to the 40.
Pat, you know, just getting back to that Edmonton Eskimo win the other evening, I'd like to congratulate an old friend of mine, Bud Riley, who's the defensive coordinator in Edmonton. I think he's just done a super job, and their defense played extremely well.
6 yards on the play.
Okay, the whole ball club played very well. Matt Denigan looked sensational. But, you know, Jackie knows the Canadian Football League, and he knows the game. So I'm not surprised that he's got them off to such a good start. The pass intended for Nick Araki was way behind him as Turner Gill continues to struggle.
Well, I think that ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Araki was open. Frustrating for Turner Gill. He had him, but one of those defensive linemen was able to get his hand up.
You know, Pat, talking just for a moment again about Edmonton, Jackie Parker was a winner as a player, and it's obvious that he's got a winning ingredient as a coach, too, and it's awful nice to see.
Must be a fun time to be in Edmonton right now because the club is playing exciting football. You know, people do not expect them to win every game, and yet they go out there and look sensational against their big rivals. This is a good punt by McGrath that chases Moret Ford back to his 18-yard line. The flag is down, and so is Ford at the 40-yard line. Moret Ford is an exciting punt and kickoff returner. That's why Ottawa was reluctant to let him go, but obviously they had no choice. 51 yards the punt, 22 the return, but there is a flag on the play. Clipping called against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Gosh, it seems like on every kicking situation that the laundry flies and it's a clipping or a holding or blocking from the rear or some kind of penalty.
See, now that's something that I don't understand. I don't know why a guy would clip when he knows that 99 times out of 100 he's going to be caught because it takes place in the open field with the official looking right at him.
Well, I can't explain it either, Pat, because I know coaches I had time and time again would say if you can't block him properly, pass him up because you're only going to cost us 15 yards every time, and this is the case here.
We've got 1:44 left to play in this opening quarter. It's 1-0 Saskatchewan, and they are going with the wind in this opening quarter. Here's the call.
Holding, Regina, Saskatchewan, first down.
Well, they called it holding.
Let's have a look. I think it's number 22, Dave Singh, at the bottom of your picture will come in and holds number 8, Aaron Hill. There, you see it right there. That's a good shot.
First down Riders from their 9-yard line, and this is Ellis. He turned the corner and fought his way to about the 15 for a pickup of close to 6 yards. Greg Seipert was there to bring him down, number 37.
You know, getting back to that holding penalty just now, he had about a 15-yard return. They bring it back 10. There's the 25 yards of offense that they've lost. So it makes it tough. You have to start deep in your own territory, and just inexcusable, those kind of penalties.
So the pickup was 6 yards. It's 2nd and 4, Saskatchewan, the ball at their 16-yard line. Powell puts it up, but right through the hands of Tim Pierce. So they'll be punting with the wind at their back and only 57 seconds left to play in this opening quarter.
By the way, Pat, that wind is not that strong. You know, for Taylor Field, normally there's a strong breeze always blowing. Well, it's a light wind. It might be a little heftier when it gets up high, as you can see by the flags and the goalpost, but it's not a great factor at all.
Well, that's good news for you, Bill. Keeps the hair in place.
Nice part about it, Leaf, is we all get suntans on the Montreal side of the field, you see.
Dave Batterwich, you can see he's having a good afternoon. And he drills this one to Jeff Patterson at his own 45. Patterson is an elusive guy. He crosses midfield, gets to the 52-yard line, and you can hear these Taylor Field fans are not happy. They felt a flag should have been thrown on that play.
Well, we'll get a chance to see it. Watch at the top of your screen, number 22, Mike Washburn. It looks like he's going to clip. He said he didn't touch him. I don't know. That's a clip to me.
49 yards was that punt and a 13-yard return, as McMahon is attended to on the field.
It's another cramp, I think, Pat, and they're getting a few of them down here because of the heat. But I think, as everybody knows who's been to Saskatchewan and especially followed football, one of the things that they don't do in Saskatchewan is drink the water, because you get a lot more than cramps. And they have strictly distilled water brought with them for Montreal in their hotel rooms, and they have distilled water on the bench here as well. So that's one of the ways they safeguard it. When they Leader Post here, the paper, was doing an interview, as a matter of fact, with Joe Galat. First two things he said: number one, he says, how's the water? And number two, how's the mosquitoes? The water's the same, and we don't have any mosquitoes yet.
Why didn't you tell me about the water last night?
Well, there's water and there's water.
Chuck McMahon, who seems to have been around since the league started.
Well, this is what the fans in Regina were a little upset about. There's number 22, Mike Washburn, coming in, and really was a clip there, and could have been called.
It's a 1-0 ball game. We are stalled right now with 33 seconds left to play in this opening quarter as they attend to Chuck McMahon. And you can see it looks like it is a cramp.
Yeah, it is a cramp. And I'll tell you, Leaf, you've had cramps before. And people, when you talk about cramps, they think, well, that can't be that serious because he gets up and runs just a minute or two later. But cramps are extremely painful, and it takes a long time to work them out. That's why they don't move the player.
Chuck McMahon has been with Montreal for 9 years. Honestly, if somebody had said, how long has he been there, I would have said, let's start at 25. Look at those scores from this past weekend. Edmonton 40, Calgary 13, Ottawa 31, Hamilton 9. What will it be in Toronto today? Everybody forecasting that the Lions should win that one. The two teams who met in the Grey Cup, of course, in 1983, featured at CNE Stadium today. Who do you like in that ballgame?
I have to go with the BC Lions in that one, Pat. Roy DeWalt has been so impressive so far this year. Mervyn Fernandez is off to a great start. And, gosh, the new receivers that they added, Sandusky, he looks like he's a real find.
Bill, who do you like in that game, BC at Toronto today?
Well, I like BC simply because Toronto has not been that sharp yet, and they also are breaking in a new quarterback. And when you do that against the Lions, look out.
Montreal with a first down at the Saskatchewan 52-yard line. Turner Gill complete to Brian DeRue at the 32. DeRue went high in the air to make the catch in front of Steve Dennis, number 25. 19 yards, the throw from Turner Gill to Brian DeRue.
This really shows the experience of Brian DeRue. He runs down, sees his zone coverage. When he sees his zone, he just has to find an open area and get into it. He makes a good catch because Steve Dennis pulls the feet out from underneath him.
First down, Montreal at the Saskatchewan 32-yard line. This will be the final play of the first quarter, barring a penalty. to Dwayne Wilson. And Wilson hits in off tackle for about 5 yards, runs into Jeff Roberts, number 71. And that's it, the end of the first quarter with the Saskatchewan Roughriders out in front of the Montreal Concord, 1-0. We'll return with second quarter action in a moment. Montreal, Turner Gill, incidentally, was good on 3 of as you can see.
Not a great deal of excitement in that first quarter.
There sure wasn't. Sweet's field goal try will be from 46 yards out. And it is wide. Brett Ford runs around in the end zone, and now finally he'll step out, and we've got a tie ball game. No, this isn't going to create too many heart attacks, this one.
You're right. You know, an interesting thing, gentlemen, is the fact that Turner Gill, Joe Galat was telling us yesterday at the press conference, he said his arm is so strong that he can throw holes in the wind. Of course, that's Ala Dieter Brock of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but that's the kind of a talent this young man is. He still has a lot to learn, as you can see in pro football. You just don't jump from college into the tough Canadian Football League. But he'll get better with every game, and that's why the future for this club looks so promising.
And you look very Hollywood down there with your $4.99 glasses on.
You like my glasses, eh?
Are nice. First down, Saskatchewan from their 39-yard line. Pow's pass, complete to Ellis. And he dances his way out over the 50 to about the 53-yard line before Zach Seifert, number 37, brings him down. It's an 18-yard pickup for Craig Ellis.
The Roughriders were so successful with this play against the Ticats last week. They just let everybody clear deep and then sneak Craig Ellis out of the backfield. There you see 75, Ken Changoni trying to stay with him, can't do it, but they pick up some good yardage when they use that play.
Your point is well made. As a matter of fact, coming into this game, Ellis was the leading receiver on the club. Stu Fraser couldn't pull that one down as Harry Skipper drills him.
Harry Skipper, he's a hitter out there, boy. He just loves the contact.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Saskatchewan, the ball at their 53-yard line. If you just joined us, it's a beautiful afternoon here on the prairies. But the contest itself has been lacking in sustained excitement. 2nd and 10, Saskatchewan at this point. Pow gets it away at the last moment to Ellis again. And Ellis is inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line of the Montreal Concord before Preston Young, number 17, finally brings him down. A good job by Joe Pow, who stood in there until the very last moment.
Okay, here's the experience of a quarterback. They've got double coverage going here with these two men going deep. They take the inside safeties deep, and that opens up a huge area here to let the back go. Let's let it run and watch the area open up underneath for Craig Ellis. That's just a good read by the quarterback.
First down, Saskatchewan. And again, this is Ellis. He crashes his way into about the 32-yard line. You've got to be impressed with the play of Craig Ellis so far in 1984 for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Picks up about 5 yards on that occasion, so make it 2nd and 5, Saskatchewan. The ball at the Montreal 32-yard line. Concord unable to do very much offensively. Pow again to Ellis. And Ellis is down to the 25-yard line. He'll have a Saskatchewan first down. Zach Seifert again makes the stop, number 37, but Ellis playing with a whole lot of enthusiasm here.
He's been the key to the Saskatchewan offense here in the first half. And Pow, again, I have to emphasize how wisely he's used him. He just lets everybody clear deep, and it's the kind of punishment that the receivers take downfield every once in a while. Look at the shot that Tim Kearse is going to get. I think that's a little holding there by Willie Hampton. Gosh, Willie, you used to hold me, too.
It is first down, Saskatchewan at the Montreal 25. Sammy Green, and the ball is over his head. Pow had him. And Green was open, but the pass was overthrown.
Well, that's one you'd like to have back over again, because Sammy Green was in behind Vince Faison there, had an easy 6.
Those those are the two, Leaf and Pat, that Joe Galat was most concerned about. He said, we have got to stop Ellis, and we've got to stop Green. If we don't, we're in for a long afternoon.
I don't think you can stop Greg Ellis. I think you can maybe control him with some defensive adjustments, but I don't think you'll ever be able to totally stop him.
Paupau's pass is caught. And they rule incomplete. Moret Ford tried to make a circus catch with Harry Skipper defending, but they rule that the ball was not caught.
That's an excellent call. As Moret Ford comes back, the ball hits in his shoulder pads and hits the ground. Good call by the official.
So on 3rd and 10, the Saskatchewan Roughriders will have an opportunity of taking the lead. Dave Ridgway is out there. And his field goal try will come from the 33.5-yard line. It's wide. I'll tell you, we're not seeing a classic here by any means this afternoon. It is Saskatchewan 2, Montreal 1. We'll be back in just a moment. Very impressive. And Sweet's field goal is good. For the first time in this ball game, the Concordes are in the lead. It is 4-2, believe it or not. Montreal leading with 7:45 left to play in the half. We'll be back in just a moment. You know, we've always had good half times here on CTV, but I don't think we've ever had a portion of a program that is so well received as yesterday in the CFL. Be interesting to see who Johnny's guest is at halftime today. It's always somebody from the past who has made a contribution. Moret Ford allows this ball to bounce out of bounds, so they will get the Concorde to kick over again. Jerry McGrath handles the kickoffs for Montreal. Don Sweet kicks field goals, but with McGrath in the lineup this week, they have elected to have him do the kickoffs. Reuben Berry, nice man. Says that he's quite happy at the way things have evolved here in Saskatchewan. Said, I like my quarterback.
Procedure,
some people
Montreal
don't.
And the kickoff.
He said, my team is much better than it was a year ago.
He seems to be under a lot of pressure, though, Pat. You talk to the people around Regina and the people we have talked to, and the rumors have started going about if they don't get moving, there could be a replacement soon. And it's rather interesting, some of the names they're mentioning. But even more interesting is already they're mentioning the possibility of a replacement.
I think the fans in Regina are a little upset at some of the people that they've traded away, such as Vince Goldsmith, who was extremely popular here in the city. And I think the fans are a little upset at some of those moves. And, of course, if a team isn't producing on the field after you've made some trades, well, then you're always open to criticism from your fans.
How about the name that we heard about a possible replacement earlier today, Lee?
Gosh, I don't know if we should even tell it.
Well, I wish you would, because I didn't hear it. This is Sammy Green. And the reverse. Tim Keir slips down. Boy, it really would have opened up for him. He gets to the 34, but he might have gone the distance. 70 yards to kickoff, a 23-yard return. And will you guys tell us the name you heard, please?
Well, you know how rumors are. I mean, everybody's got a rumor, everybody's got a story, but that's part of the fun, of course, in all sports and the CFL. The rumor was the fellow who did such a great job as a color commentator with you on the Saskatchewan-Hamilton game last week. Jocko.
First down, Saskatchewan from their 33. The pass is complete to Stu Fraser. Fraser takes the hit from Seifert, but still hangs on and gets to the 48-yard line.
That's a nice job by Stu Fraser to work himself free, and probably one of the better throws that Joe Paupau has made today. Huge area for Stu Fraser to work into, and he comes up with the catch. And gosh, the Roughriders have got to try and put something together here.
Paupau was very fortunate that Andre Francis didn't return that one for a touchdown. Francis just laid in the weeds, waiting for Moret Ford. And then when Paupau threw the football, he stepped right in front of him.
Boy, you're absolutely right, Pat. Look at that. And that would have been instant 6 for Andre Francis.
Second and 10, Saskatchewan. The ball at their 48. They trail 4-2, if you can believe that score. We've got 6.5 minutes left to play in this second quarter. Pow goes down. Steve Rocky, number 49, with his first quarterback sack of this game, but he had one against Hamilton, so give Rocky 2 on the season.
The newcomer from Holy Cross, who Joe Galat believes will be one of the better pass rushers in the CFL when he gets a little experience, comes in and does a good job to pick up that sack. And just when the Saskatchewan Roughriders look like they might try to put something together, they have to give up the football.
And though his name looks like it should be pronounced Racket, actually the correct pronunciation is Rocky. As he sits down, Badawich's boot. This is Phil Jones. Jones gets to the 38-yard line, but good downfield tackle by Vic Stevenson. Nice play downfield, 37 yards the boot and only a 2-yard return.
Every special team on a punting situation, when they're coming downfield, the thing is spread out. They're a little close together here, but they break down, get under control, and make a good tackle on Phil Jones.
First down, Montreal, the ball at their 38-yard line. Gill with the play-action fake now goes downfield, looking for Robinson, but it's intercepted by Terry Irvin, and Saskatchewan will have possession at their 33-yard line. The wily veteran Terry Irvin, number 32, with the interception, Turner Gill's second of the afternoon.
Well, you call him a wily veteran, and he shows his experience here. He read the pattern all the way, saw it out and up to Ron Robertson, laid off, and comes up with the turnover. Nice job by Terry Irvin.
And as a matter of fact, they rule that he is down at the 35-yard line, so that's where the Rough Riders take over with 5 minutes and 35 seconds left to play in this first half. Pow to Steve Fraser. Fraser cuts it upfield to about the 41-yard line. He'll have a pickup of close to 6. Brought down by Aaron Hill, number 8. Hill making his debut in the lineup of the Montreal Concord.
Seems to be the main feature of the Saskatchewan offense is just let those linebackers clear and drag either a running back or the inside receiver, such as Stu Fraser, across the middle. And, you know, you pick up good yardage when you use that play on first down. That's ball control with the passing game.
2nd and 4, Saskatchewan. Powell going deep, this time for Moret Ford. It bounced off his, I believe, his shoulder. I mean, there was absolutely no excuse for that one. The ball was perfectly thrown by Powell.
Gosh, that's tough. When you're struggling on offense and trying to get something going, to have a receiver do that to you is really heartbreaking because the sun's not a factor on this. He just takes it right in the eyes.
It bounced off his helmet. Poor Moret.
But that's too bad. When you're struggling to have something like that happen as well, it's tough.
Badawich's punt, not a particularly good one. It goes out of bounds. And we'll see where they mark this. Saskatchewan fans getting a little restless right now. They're not particularly pleased at the way this first half has gone. Bill?
Doug Scott. Doug, this has been a tough...
McDermott has dropped at about the 21-yard line, so again, the Rough Riders will be starting in a bit of a hole. Neither club able to sustain any kind of an offensive drive. Got a flag down at midfield. Let's check that one out. There's Fran McDermott. He's a great little punt returner. There's Eddie Murcell, our director, just taking in the game from that vantage point.
There's no indication thus far, Pat, that the Concord are interested in going to what they call the best bullpen man in Canadian football. And I speak of Jerry DiTilio, but I would think that if Gill doesn't get on track, we are going to see DiTilio, maybe not this half, but certainly in the second half and probably very early.
Mike Washburn is the injured Montreal Concord, number 22. He's down at about the 33-yard line. And because it is a hot day, we probably will have a number of these injuries. They're not serious, but they're sore for the player. There's no question about that.
Boy, if you've ever popped the calf muscle out and tried to work it back in, it's excruciating. And the thing is, these fellas, it's only the second quarter. They got to try and keep running on it for another couple quarters. There's Mike Washburn, and he comes in and really puts the hit on Fran McDermott. And
second quarter, it feels like we've been here a year and a half.
Let me tell you, for people who are Saskatchewanites who now live elsewhere, this is one of the more humid days you'll see in Regina.
There's movement at the line of scrimmage. Here was to Craig Ellis, and he got to the 10-yard line no further, but let's see if there was a flag down.
Pat, you talked about what great fans they have out here in Regina, and as a former player who played here for 4 seasons, it's just a great football place to play.
Well, we'll pursue that when we come back. It is 4-2. Montreal leads Saskatchewan, and we will be back in just a moment. This week in football, it'll give you a wrap-up of everything that's going on in the Canadian Football League. Look for it in your city and check out your TV listings to see what time it's on in your area. You know, you were talking about Saskatchewan. It is such a fun place to come to a ball game, too.
Well, I made some great friends when I was a player out here, and it's enjoyable for me to come back and have a visit with some of them, and it's a great city.
Alpa with time fires it down to Ray Elgart, and Elgart with great determination stays on his feet and gets over the 35 to about the 36-yard line before Preston Young finally brings him down. But Ray Elgart picks up 26 yards for Saskatchewan.
Fellow doesn't get a great deal of playing time with the Roughriders. Ray Elgart, basically a tight end, just over the middle, bails out Joe Pauw as he was having trouble finding an open receiver, and does a great job running with that football after making the catch.
7 first downs for Saskatchewan, all by passing. Moret Ford makes the catch, then gets away from Andre Francis and gets to the 50-yard line for another Saskatchewan first down, a pickup of 14 yards. First reception as a Saskatchewan Roughrider for Moret Ford. We've got 2 minutes and 18 seconds left to play in this first half. Saskatchewan trails by 2 points. This is Ellis. Ellis picked his way neatly to get to midfield. He'll have a pickup of about 5 yards, make it 2nd and 5. And again, another injured ball player.
Willie Hampton, the injured ball player, and he was the one that really came in and put the final hit on Craig Ellis to stop him after an 8-yard gain. Let's see if we can have a look. Hampton will be coming into your picture right there.
They butted heads.
And he took the brunt of that. You see that kind of brace he wears on his neck. That's to prevent the helmet and your neck from snapping back. But they met head on, and I think he could be out cold. One more shot from a little lower angle.
Wilter, who walked over to Willie Hampton, gave him a little pat on the back, because obviously everybody was pretty concerned.
Well, even though these guys are opponents, I mean, they all have feelings and care for each other out in the field. They're all part of the Players Association, and that was a good job by Harry Skipper to keep Craig Ellis, what appears to be a little short of that first down.
I had said that it was first down. Actually, it was second, because the first down play was the one in which Willie Hampton was injured. This will bring up 3rd and inches for Saskatchewan. The ball at the Montreal 50-yard line. They're just outside the 50, actually. Clock is stopped momentarily with 1:44. Probably asking Willie right now, do you know who you are and where you are?
I think there's Earth calling Willie. Earth calling Willie.
Clock is running now with 1:35 left in the first half. Saskatchewan gambling on 3rd and inches. Pauw keeps it himself and has the first down. Craig Ellis comes back into the ball game. Bob Reed, number 19, comes up. And the Roughriders will have an opportunity, it looks, to go into their locker room at halftime with the lead if they can sustain this drive. Ball is spotted just inside the 50-yard line of the Concord. Lots of time left here, 1:15. Pauw Halpau swings it off to Craig Ellis. They rule that it was a forward pass.
For Ellis, incomplete.
He alertly chased it down in the event that they were going to call it a lateral pass, but it was not.
It had success with that last week where they swing Ellis out and pull a couple of linemen in front of him. It's really a swing screen pass, and the defense just did a super job reading it. There you see Doug Scott in on pressure on Joe Paopao as well.
Clock was stopped because of the incompletion. At 1:11. Paopao going deep for Stu Fraser, but it was overthrown. Aaron Hill, number 8, was step for step with the Saskatchewan receiver.
Now you can see Joe Paopao leaving the field. He's a little frustrated, and number 8, Aaron Hill, right on the hip of Stu Fraser, and that's where you want to be if you're a defensive back. Stay right on his hip and then make your reaction to the football.
Had 10 punts in this ball game already. This one bounces down to Jeff Patterson at the Montreal 8-yard line, and he's dropped at the 6. We're going to have a penalty for face mask. Vic Stevenson, who is always first downfield, was there this time as well, but he got his hand on the face mask. It's an exciting one, isn't it? Boy, this has been...
Not been the best football game we've seen.
Illegal block. Montreal, number 54. First down.
4-2. Who scored the goal?
Well, as Bill Stevenson, the spotter Bill Stevenson from CKCK Television here in Regina said to me, this is a preview of the Canada Cup score. Concord in jeopardy here. They are starting from their 2-yard line. This was the quarterback draw. That's the design play. Turner Gill just takes that half step back and then hopes that it will all open up for him. It did not open up as much as he had hoped for because Jeff Roberts was there to make the stop. Ball is out about the 8-yard line. Clock is running with 45 seconds left in this half. The pass is picked off, thrown right into the arms of Terry Irvin, who scores the touchdown. Oh, what a gift that was. Irvin with it could have been easier for him to make that interception and step into the end zone. And the Roughriders are back in front.
Well, that's his second interception, and Fred Fleming, our ISO director, had a feeling they might be working in his area, and they just simply overthrew Nick Araki. Terry Irvin, Johnny on the spot. The Saskatchewan Roughriders get their first touchdown via the defense, and I think that's the way it should have been, the way this first half's gone.
You know, you mentioned Freddie Fleming. Nobody does a better job at isolation than Freddie Fleming. 30 seconds left to play in the half.
One more look at it, his second interception of this first half, and both of them have been of the easy variety, but a big play right there to get the touchdown.
Concord will have an opportunity to return this kickoff. Terry Irvin's a happy guy. They played well defensively, and there's Leaf's other pal, Gaynor.
Not anymore.
Gaynor the Gopher.
So he may be able to play.
Well, that's wonderful news. Paopau's pass is complete to Ray Elgart, and Elgart with a good catch and a equally good run gets to the 49-yard line. Now this is what we were looking for.
Well, we just talked about Willie Hampton, and number 37, Zach Seifert, is his replacement in the middle there, and he just could not get near Ray Elgart as he makes a good catch.
Roughriders with the ball at their 49-yard line. We're just underway here in the third quarter. Saskatchewan leading it 9-4. Andre Francis breaks up the pass on a good defensive play. It was intended for Sammy Green, and Green again is down.
Boy, Pat, you couldn't have better coverage than that, though. Nice job by Andre Francis.
Only a little guy at 5'9", but look how high in the air he goes.
Well, he had himself in perfect position there between the receiver and the quarterback and was able to make the play. And although Sammy Green tried to work over the top, there was not a chance he could catch that football.
And this is the second or third time that Green has been down. Ran into an old pal of yours, an old teammate, Al Ford. He looks great.
Al's always in good shape. He's probably playing lots of tennis and
playing a lot of racquetball, he was telling me. Of course, he played with Saskatchewan for so many years and was such a versatile guy.
I was just going to say, I bet you if you go over the history of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, he would be the most versatile player that ever wore the green and white.
That's a guy that can really fly. Sammy Green, as he comes off the field, he'll leave for at least one play. And the Riders will try to pick up 10 yards. That's what they need on second down right now. The ball is just inside the Saskatchewan 50-yard line. Stu Fraser, number 11. Joe Pow Pow. Pow Pow has played fairly well today. And this one is picked off. Ken Cianconi, a linebacker formerly with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, makes the key interception. He had the coverage on Stu Fraser, and boy, it was perfect.
What a nice job by the newcomer coming over from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. He stays right with Stu Fraser, breaks on the football, and makes just a great interception. Boy, Joe Glad, I know in talking to him, he's just pleased as punch to have Ken Cianconi in his lineup. They made that trade, and he gave up a good one in Delbert Fowler to obtain Ken Cianconi.
So we'll see how Jerry DiTilio does. His toss goes to Dwayne Wilson, and Wilson gets up very close to the 45-yard line. Pulled down there by Jerry Friesen, number 50. So Jerry DiTilio comes on in turn, or rather in place of Turner Gill. And that was not an unexpected move.
I think the graphic you just saw really illustrates a lot of Jerry DiTilio's problems over the years. He's only thrown 9 passes this season so far, but already has 2 interceptions.
7 yards, the pickup for Montreal on first down, make it 2nd and 3 at the 46-yard line. This is Wayne Wilson, and Wilson gets close to midfield. That was his 11th carry of the ball game, and he has picked up 72 yards. Ben Suter was there to haul him down.
There's Willie Hampton getting a little rest, trying to clear the cobwebs out.
Well, it sure is good to see him smiling, see him all right. So I was concerned about that one. It is first down. Montreal, the ball just shading their side of midfield. And this is Terry Lyman. This is exactly the kind of competitive thing that Joe Gillette wanted. He wanted Dwayne Wilson and Terry Lyman to be virtually battling each other to see who would pick up most yards. And on that occasion, Lyman gathered 16 of them. Fran McDermott was there to bring him down.
And an excellent job by number 54, Rob Smith, trapping to create that big hole for Terry Lyman to run through.
First down, Concord at the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. Now this is Wilson again. And Wilson gets to the 35-yard line for a pickup of 5. Steve Johnson, number 17, was there to haul him down.
2nd and 5, ball to 35.
9-4, Saskatchewan leads Montreal.
Here's the 2 setbacks that Pat mentioned. Just a little delay, and number 30, Dwayne Wilson, picks up some more good yardage. They're at least getting at least 5 downs on those first down running plays, and that makes it good for your quarterback.
4 straight times they have run the football, which is unusual in the CFL. DiTilio's pass is knocked away. What a fine defensive play by Steve Dennis. He just stepped in front of Washburn at the final moment and knocked the ball away.
There was also good pressure on the play from number 3, Fran McDermott, who came on a safety blitz, but the stick man, number 25, Steve Dennis, back in the lineup, was released in training camp, due to the injury to Ken Hinton, he is now getting a chance to start and play again. And there you see number 3, Fran McDermott down the field. He applied some tremendous pressure to Jerry DiTilio, and of course when he hit the ground, I guess maybe he injured a knee or something. Knocked the wind out of him, looks like, probably.
Fran's going to be all right. He's up and running off under his own steam as Moret Ford drops back into the Saskatchewan end zone, and he will try to run this ball out if, in fact, it's wide. Field goal try will come from the 42.5-yard line. Ron Sweet puts it up, and it is good. And so with 10 minutes and 9 seconds left to play in this third quarter, it is now Saskatchewan 9, Montreal 7. We'll be back in just a moment.
There's support for the Merchant Empire 1,071 seats, section 28.
Number 1, Tim Kearse, has a very heavily bandaged knee. He hurt it in the first half of play. He's been taken off the specialty teams, but they hope he can continue, and they think he probably can from the slot back position. But Kearse is having little trouble maneuvering, and they don't want to take any chances of that knee being hurt more than it is.
Thank you, Bill. Jerry McGrath is ready to kick it off. This is Sammy Green from his 23-yard line. Good job. Boy, that's hustle. That is hustle and determination and just trying to do everything you can to help your ball club win. Sammy Green hurdled 2 tacklers. This is a magnificent return of 46 yards. Let's just watch him. Ken Cianconi finally brings him down, but watch this. Hurdles Phil Jones, then goes over the top of Andre Francis.
Would be a high hurdler.
And finally forced out by Ken Cianconi. But Saskatchewan now takes over at Montreal's 43-yard line. Greg Feger trying to get outside, could not do so. Stop was made by Steve Rocky, number 49.
I'm glad to say, too, that Willie Hampton is back in the ball game, because he was in with Steve Rocky to help out on that tackle.
Pickup was a couple of yards for Greg Feger. Make it 2nd and 8, Saskatchewan, hanging on to a 2-point lead, 9-7. Right underneath to Craig Ellis, and Ellis is inside the 25-yard line to about the 22. Young, number 17, made the stop, Preston Young, but not before Craig Ellis had picked up 19 yards.
Boy, they've had success with that play the last few weeks, and once again, just let everybody drop and dump it off to Craig Ellis and let him get in that open field, and he's a dangerous receiver when he gets that ball.
And Cianconi comes into the ball game. They take Phil Jones out on first down, Saskatchewan. Wide open is Stu Fraser. Touchdown, Saskatchewan. 22 yards by Stu Fraser, who gives you everything he's got on every play. The fans here love him. They should.
Well, there he is, and what a tremendous effort Stu Fraser will make after he catches the football. First of all, to stay on his feet right here. Watch the move. Little juke to the outside, and it stops Andre Francis cold. Well, that's just a great play. Good Canadian receiver.
And he's out there to hold for this point after. Ridgway's kick is good. And so the Saskatchewan Roughriders have gone in front by 9 points.
Isn't it interesting, Pat, how always a big play on special teams seems to fire up a football team. A great kickoff return by Sammy Green, culminating now with a nice catch and run by Stu Fraser.
All right, we've got 8 minutes, 26 seconds left to play in this third quarter. We'll be back in just a moment. Saskatchewan Roughriders, trailing now by a point, begin at their own 45-yard line. Pass is complete. Pow to Ray Elgart. Elgart runs well as he gets to the Montreal 50-yard line. Finally brought down by Zach Seifert, number 37.
First down.
What a good job by Joe Pow to bide himself a little extra time until his receivers did come open, forced out of the pocket. But that's Ray Elgart's third catch of the game, and he's been very impressive since he's come in. There you see, good catch, working his way back to the quarterback.
This should be the final play of the third quarter. Ellis, the ball carrier. And he gets to about the Montreal 45-yard line. He'll have a pickup of 5. As the gun sounds to end the third quarter of play, Montreal is out in front of Saskatchewan 17-16. We'll return with fourth quarter action in a moment. We're back to start play here in the fourth quarter. Pow's pass was picked off and was deflected. And this is Aaron Hill. He will go the distance to score for Montreal. Aaron Hill with the interception of the deflected Joe Pow pass. What a key play for the Concord. And what a big play for Aaron Hill, seeing his first action of the 1984 campaign.
Well, there's Aaron Hill, and this is just basic football. If you can't get the sack, get those hands up. You may get a tip. Here's what happens. Watch the reaction by number 8, Aaron Hill. He goes up, clears the boards, comes down with the ball, and he's off and running and won't be stopped.
So now the Concord lead is 7 points with the point after to come. James Zachary was the man who deflected that pass that Pow was endeavoring to throw. Don Sweet's point after is good. And now the Concord have opened up an 8-point lead. And what a game that sets up next Sunday, or rather next Saturday evening in Montreal.
Here we're ISO'd on Willie Hampton coming across, but watch Aaron Hill. He steps up, goes high in the air, makes the interception, and the Concords really have come out in the second half and made their own breaks.
You know who had the hands up and knocked that ball down? It was James Zachary, Leaf.
Well, Bill, it's such a big play. I mean, I said it a few seconds ago. If you can't get in and pressure the quarterback, at least put those hands up. You never know what may happen.
Isn't football a strange game, though? I mean, now this was an uninteresting contest the first half. It's turned into be a very thrilling football game, and you can see Montreal has come on here with 252 yards offensively, 244 for Saskatchewan, and we've still got a full quarter to play here.
Well, you've got a few selections now, I tell you, for the O'Keefe offensive player, and Aaron Hill has to be one of them.
Well, maybe we'll give him the defensive player. Terry Irvin, I think, deserves some consideration as well. His 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. Now another defensive back coming up with a big play for a touchdown. There's a look at Aaron Hill, and he's in the lineup. This is his first game.
14:40 left to play in this ball game. It is 24-16. Montreal leads it. We'll be back in just a moment.
Aaron Hill upstairs are making fun of me because they said you could be a candidate for the offensive star. Seems to me that's as good an offensive play as I've seen in this game.
Oh, well, I was just in the right place at the right time, you know, doing my job. Ball popped up. I just ran and caught it and ran in for the end zone for a touchdown, you know.
Is that one of those things where it's more luck than anything else, or what?
I just think it's being in the right place at the right time. You know, everybody's lucky in their own way. You know, I just happen to make a good play.
Look at this play. This is Moret Ford. He took a big hit from Andre Francis, who went down low, and Moret Ford ends up somersaulting his way to the 36-yard line. But what a nice little move when he first got a hold of that ball. It was a 70-yard kickoff, a 42-yard return.
Well, I give him an 8.9 for the degree of difficulty on this somersault. Watch this one coming up. Whoa.
Ball is out to the 36.5-yard line. Now the Roughriders have to get going offensively. They led in this ball game until just a few short moments ago. Pow ends up gaining 2 or 3 yards, but he was brought down by Doug Scott, number 70, when he had to scramble out of there. Had to be good coverage by that Concord secondary because he couldn't find anybody open. Next Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, we'll be in the Big O in Montreal to watch the Ottawa Roughriders and the Montreal Concorde. And boy, would it be nice to see a big crowd there for that one. And then on Sunday, Jackie Parker and the Eskimos are in Toronto. We'll have that one for you as well. Stu Fraser makes the catch, but doesn't get enough for the first down. Preston Young made sure that he didn't go any further.
Great reaction by number 17, Preston Young. We haven't talked about him too much today. He's the center fielder, but on blitz situations, he comes up and plays man-to-man, and what a nice job he did.
Leaf, do you think in this situation we might see them try to block Batawich's punt? Because in the press conference yesterday, Coach Joe Galat said they blocked him a couple of times last year, and he said yes. He says, I think he is slow at getting the ball off, and so we'll be trying to apply pressure. This might be a real spot to do it.
I think so too, Bill, and they've come after him. Not on this one, though. They're setting up a return.
Jeff Patterson from his 24-yard line. There's a block in the back, no question about it. And I don't know why he would be upset. Number 54 of the Montreal Concorde, Rob Smith, definitely blocked the man from the back.
Well, it's another one of those occasions we talked about, Pat. You know, Rob Smith throws his hands in the air, can't figure out why he's going to get called. But gosh, you know, hit him right in the back.
Look at the hole that puts the Concorde in right here.
Illegal block, Montreal number 54. First down.
So the Concorde start at their 15-yard line. They lead it by 8 points, and we've got 13 minutes left.
There you see it right at the top of your screen. No question, hitting the back, and the official has to call that play, which he did.
This is Dwayne Wilson. Ooh, and a diving tackle brings him down at the 24-yard line by Jerry Friesen. And had Friesen not made that play, it's not inconceivable Wilson would have gone the distance.
Dwayne Wilson's done an excellent job running that football. He seems to be able to pick and choose his holes very well and accelerate and get through them. And he's given the Concordes consistently good yardage on first down plays.
Picked up 9 on that occasion with his 18th carry of the afternoon for a total of 136 yards.
It's a nice situation. He could let one fly here, but
not going to do it. Just look at there, though. DeTilio very nearly broke out of that pack. Picks up very close to 6 yards as he gets the ball to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, you're right. So deep in their own territory. The first priority, get that first down.
Al Johns, number 62, comes into the ball game for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And coming out is newcomer Jeff Roberts. Montreal would like to eat up some of this time that we have remaining, 11 minutes, 45 seconds. Their ground game has been effective, and that's what they do. They give it to Dwayne Wilson. Wilson with a very nifty run to the 50-yard line before Glenn Suter cut him down at that point. Pickup is 19 yards. You've got to be impressed with these two rookie running backs of the Montreal Concorde, particularly Dwayne Wilson. They're both approximately the same size. Wilson is 5'11", 190.
Well, let's have a look at Nick Araki, number 79. Let it roll just a little bit. He's going to come in on Billy Jackson, stop it right there, and with his size, he can just screen him right off. Let it go now, and Dwayne Wilson runs right up inside it. That's a good job of blocking.
Now this is Terry Lyman. And Lyman fights his way into Saskatchewan territory to about the 53-yard line. You don't see this very often in the Canadian Football League, but Montreal is showing you an impressive running attack.
Well, you know, they've got Denny Ferdinand waiting in the wings as soon as his knee injury is better. And, gosh, will have some great depth at the running back position when he becomes healthy.
I mentioned that Wilson, number 30, is 5'11", 190. Lyman is 5'10", 195. 2nd and 3. And this is Wilson. But this time there is no room for him to go. Billy Jackson, number 45, was first there.
Billy Jackson was first there, but Rick Moore from his defensive end position, number 76, just got that penetration upfield and turned it back inside so Jackson could clean up on the play.
Look at the disparity in the rushing yards. Montreal 223, Saskatchewan just 32. But this time the Roughriders closed them down.
They're down at 5.
And now McGrath will be punting. Fran McDermott and Lorette Ford are back to receive this punt. This will be Ford from the 15-yard line. Lorette Ford over the 35 to about the 37. And that's where the Roughriders will take over when we come back. It is Montreal 24, Saskatchewan 16. Well, there you see, if you'd be interested in receiving the 1984 Canadian Football League official record manual, just send $3 to CFL Record Manual, 11 King Street West, Suite 1800, Toronto, M5H1A3. Okay, we've got exactly 10 minutes left to play in this ball game. It is Montreal 24, Saskatchewan 16. The Roughriders have possession at their own 37-yard line as Glenn Keeble of the Concord has helped off the field. Pow's passing statistics, Bob Lees, how are they today? We'll get that information for you right now. 20 out of 33 for 236 yards. He has had 3 interceptions. One of them, of course, returned for the touchdown by number 8 in that Montreal defensive alignment, Aaron Hill. Pow looking for Stu Fraser, but it was knocked away by Zach Seifert. And again, Pow is not having a great deal of luck. The balls are just being deflected when he's got people who are wide open. Stu Fraser was on that occasion.
Well, in that big game in Toronto, the BC Lions have moved out in front of the Argonauts, 14-9.
Here it is second down, Saskatchewan from their 37-yard line. Pow's pass was very nearly picked off once again. Vince Faison stepped in front of Stu Fraser at the last moment and knocked the ball away.
Well, you can see the Montreal Concord now. They've moved out into the lead, and their defense is really picking up the aggression now as Vince Faison works through and makes a great play to knock that ball loose. Andre Francis, little help as well. .9:20 left to play in the ball game. Dave Batovich trying to get a big one away here for the Riders. Hangs it high. It's a wobbly punt that Patterson takes at his 40-yard line and gets to about the 44. There's the flag down on the field of play. It's only a 34-yard punt, a 5-yard return. Well, I think the newcomer, Richard White, number 43, will be called for no yards on that play. He just didn't give the necessary room. There's a young fella enjoying the game, maybe a future writer, you never know. Concord end up close to midfield.
No yards, Regina, number 43, first down.
Good call, Leaf. First down for Montreal at their 54-yard line. And, of course, following the game, we'll have the Carling O'Keefe Game Stars, both offensively and defensively. Boy, Jerry DiTilio's really turned the game around since he's come in the second half and really given his club a lift. This guy's got to be given every consideration, too, Dwayne Wilson. Wilson has rushed for close to 150 yards this afternoon. As a matter of fact, he's over 150 right now.
You know, Joe Galatz had to answer a lot of questions about keeping the 2 young running backs, but he said the reason is they're physical, they break tackles, and they're going to get a lot better. And they're certainly showing that this afternoon. Some great running, and as you point out, Pat, especially by Wilson.
You know, you like to see nice people do well. That's why I think everybody is cheering for Joe Galatz. Pick up was 6 yards. Bootleg by Jerry DiTilio. And he gets the first down to the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. Eddie Lowe finally brings him down, but DeTilio was able to pick up 10 yards.
Well, there you go, Jerry DeTilio, a naked bootleg. I don't think he told the running backs what he was going to do, and often that's the best way to carry out that play. And he just took it around the end himself and picked up the first down.
Ball is at the Saskatchewan 40-yard line. Terry Lyman, and this time absolutely nowhere to go.
Leaf, I've got a little sport trivia for you.
Uh-oh.
Tell me this. What player in this game has for the first time in his career recovered 2 fumbles?
I'd probably say Doug Scott.
That's my guess.
I'll tell you, you're sharp. Anyway, Doug is really happy because it's the first time he has ever recovered 2 fumbles in the game. I went up and I said, Doug, has it happened before? He says, you know, I have trouble remembering when I can recover 1.
But Bill, Doug Scott's a real big reason why the Concordes are going to have success on defense this year, because he missed the entire year last year with a knee injury. And to get a good Canadian defensive lineman back in the lineup is a big plus, and he's a real game player, Doug Scott.
Nicky Hall is warming up on the Saskatchewan sideline. We may see him at quarterback as Doug Scott walks off the field. Nicky Hall is the number 2 quarterback here in Saskatchewan behind Joe Paupow, but trailing by 8 points. Coach Ruben Berry may feel that it's time to make a switch.
Well, there's one thing Nicky Hall can do if he comes in the ball game, and that's to go to the sprint passing, and he can run. So if things are plugged up downfield, he's the kind of guy that can get you downfield in a hurry with his own particular running abilities.
Never forget the first time we saw him when he joined the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Just come out of university, he was impressive. Remember that game?
Sure was, Pat. I remember it very well. Bill, we're having a look at Terry Lyman, who's down on the field, and it looks like the cramps again. How hot is it? You're down there.
It is very humid, which, as I've said several times, is highly unusual as far as this province is concerned, because you normally don't get the humidity. Normally it's dry. But the humidity earlier today was in the 60s, and the temperature has got to be up to the 80s now. It's a hot day here, on the field especially. As you know, this AstroTurf adds to the heat. As a matter of fact, the best way to do it, really, I guess, is to ask a player exactly what he thinks as far as the heat is concerned. Harry Skipper's here. Let me talk to Harry. Harry, how's that heat affecting you? Is it a problem?
Yes, a big problem.
Well, you know, it's so hot in Montreal, and it was so humid, the game you played against Hamilton. This, I would think, would not be as bad, but it seems to be bothering you more. At least the players are having more cramps.
Yeah, well, the weather's been a little better in Montreal than this, you know, and now we come out here, it's really hot. So I don't think we're really expecting, you know, to be as hot.
With the change, then, really, in the weather.
Yes, a big one.
Okay, Harry.
Second down, Concord. DeTilio unloads it to Nikaraki.
Oh,
He has the first down and more. Look at Araki fight his way down to the 6-yard line. 34 yards to pick up before Jerry Friesen finally hauls him down. Well, they blitzed Steve Johnson, and it cost them.
Well, they came, you're right, Pat, the safety blitz, and look at the patience of Jerry DeTilio just to hold up and wait, and then Nick Araki does a good job. Good move for a big guy. He's 6'6", and what a target to be able to get in trouble and look and find him.
Nick's been around the CFL for 6 years now. Of course, succeeded one of the great ones, Peter Della Riva. Peter's going to play next week, but I'll tell you about that a little later. First and touchdown to go, Montreal. This is Dwayne Wilson, and he does not get in. He's down to about the 3-yard line. Tripped up by Steve Johnson. You know, I talked about Peter Della Riva going to play next week. Yeah. At halftime, some of the old-time Ottawa Roughriders and some of the old-time Montreal players are going to get together, have a little touch football game. Peter Della Riva will be one. Ronnie Stewart will be on the other side for Ottawa. It'll be interesting to watch them. You going to play?
I'm not going to play. Who'd work with you?
I thought all the old-timers were going to play in that game.
Second down, 3 yards to go. Touchdown, Concord, Dwayne Wilson. And look how happy Joe Gallant is. And you've got to be happy for him. A big, big ball game for Dwayne Wilson this afternoon. Just give you his stats on the day. He has carried the ball 23 times for 164 yards and a touchdown. There it is.
You know, I was just talking to Fred Fleming in the truck on my headset pad, and he makes a very good point. You know, that's the main reason why Joe Galat went out and made that trade to get Jerry DiTilio, just for these instances. He knows he's got the two young quarterbacks, Steve Smith and Turner Gill, who in time will become good, solid quarterbacks. But until then, he has the good relief pitcher coming off the bench, and Jerry DiTilio's just done a super job.
We've got 5 minutes, 37 seconds left to play in this ball game. It is Montreal 31, Saskatchewan 16. We'll be back in just a moment. They're going to need some field position. Moret Ford can give it to them. So too can Sammy Green as they await this kickoff. Jerry McGrath kicking off for the Concorde. And this will be Sammy Green from 2 yards deep in the end zone. Well, he couldn't get to the outside. He tried to throw 2 or 3 dekes there, but nobody would give. Finally, Zach Seifert brought him down, number 37, and Mickey Hall is in the ball game. Well, as Leaf pointed out, Mickey Hall is the kind of a kid that can really throw on the run. He's from Tulane University. He starts from inside his 25-yard line. Sammy Green, he's over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. 20 yards to pick up. Mickey Hall to Sammy Green. Harry Skipper finally forced him out.
Sorry, Pat. The Concorde content to sit back in a deep zone now with a 31-16 lead, and when you do that, you can get some guys wide open, as Sammy Green was able to do right there.
Well, you can understand why Coach Ruben Berry made the quarterback change. That is the first down in this fourth quarter for Saskatchewan. They've got to score in a hurry right now. Ball going deep for Green, but he overthrows him by about 15 yards.
Green, incomplete. Second and 10.
Saskatchewan, second down, 10 yards to go at their 44-yard line with 4:40 left. There's enough time for them to come back, but they've got to score on this possession.
I was just going to say, well, we saw it last week with just a little over 2 minutes remaining. Peter Brock was able to bring his team from a 13-point deficit and end up tying that game, so plenty of time here with 4:30 remaining.
No good. Drilled it at Moret Ford. He would have been out of bounds anyway. Could have actually run for the first down, I thought.
I was just going to say, you know, I think rather than try and drill it in, you've got to take off. He had maybe 10 yards to spare in front of him to go, and that would have been a great catch. Tough ball to hang on to.
Some of the faithful beginning to file out of Taylor Field. This game could have consequences, no question about that. Saskatchewan looking for their first victory of the year, and this is their second home game. They still don't have one. Phil Jones gets to the 34-yard line, and now you'll watch Montreal's ball control in action because they want to eat up that clock. A 38-yard punt by Badowich, who could have some problems retaining his position because they do have another punter in camp now.
Pat, you were talking about the importance of the game, what it means to Saskatchewan. Well, yesterday, as you know, Joe Galat said that this game, he feels, could be the key to the season. In other words, if they had lost, they would have had a real tough time coming back. So it was a must game for them. And so when you say one game, and only number 2 of the season is the key to the season, that shows you how vital it is.
Goes to Wilson. Not much there for him.
Bill, that's a good point. You know, Joe Galat all week told his players and built them up on the premise that this game today could make their whole season. So there was certainly a lot at stake in the minds of the players on the Concorde side.
You know, and they know that they've got a good football team, but if you don't win, then you begin to have doubts. Now that they appear to be on their way to this victory this afternoon, now next week's game with Ottawa really takes on a great deal of significance.
Well, that's what Glenn Weir told us this morning. He said, we know we're good, but we've got to get over the hump and get this first win, and then maybe we really can get on track.
2nd and 8. Attilio pulls it down, keeps it himself, fights for a couple of yards to about the 38-yard line, but he's well short of the first down. And so the Concorde will be punting with 2:53 left on the clock. Montreal leads it 31-16. We'll be back in a moment.
This is Dale Isaac reporting on the Toronto-BC game this afternoon in Toronto. Conrad Holloway scrambling and gets to Lester Brown for the touchdown. 8-0 Argos. They went up 9-0. The Lions come right back. This is John Henry White scoring to make it 9-7 in favor of Toronto. And then Roy DeWalt goes deep to Ned Armour. The speedy guy takes it into the end zone. 14-9 Lions.
Offensive line.
Well, here's the situation. 2 minutes, 53 seconds left to play in the ball game. Montreal 31, Saskatchewan 16. Montreal punting on 3rd and about 6. Fran McDermott, number 3. Moret Ford, number 10, back to return this punt for Saskatchewan. Oh, it's a beauty. It's the best kick of the afternoon by far. McDermott back to his 8-yard line. And he doesn't get back to the 20. As a matter of fact, they'll spot it at about the 19. A 64-yard boot by Jerry McGrath, a 12-yard return. Zach Seifert again was first down for Montreal to make the stop. Fran McDermott, what a big play he had last week against Hamilton. Stepped in front of a Dieter Brock throw and went all the way for the touchdown.
Well, we thought that was the play that would win the game for him. Time and time again, Hamilton was able to come back.
It's all up to Nicky Hall now at quarterback for Saskatchewan. 2 minutes, 24 seconds left in the game. Pass is complete. Harry Skipper hit Moret Ford, who was able to spin away from him momentarily and picked up the first down. Bill?
Well, you know, the key to any running game is the offensive line, and rarely do they get the credit. Lloyd Fairbanks has played an extremely good ball game today. That offensive line has been rolling.
Well, I think after halftime, you know, we got some things settled down, and we came off and coming off the football really well, and the backs are cutting off our blocks really well, and it makes everybody look good.
Lloyd, I'll talk to you in just a moment.
First down, Saskatchewan at their 33-yard line. Nicky Hall going down the middle and playing center field was Preston Young. An easy interception for him. And Montreal will empty this stadium right now. It was like somebody had shouted fire. Everybody just stood up at once. They said, that's it, we're going home.
Well, a pretty poorly thrown pass here. Preston Young, probably the easiest interception he's going to make. He just stood back there and waited for it. And I'd say that's game, set, match point.
It's amazing now, Saskatchewan played so well last week against Hamilton, and they played very well here in the first half defensively.
Well, it's tough defensively. If you don't get that support on offense, you're out in the field far too much, and on a hot day like this, it just wears you down both mentally and physically, and it's tough to play that way. Saskatchewan's going to have to regroup after this game and figure out something. They've got to do something, a better job on offense.
This is Dwayne Wilson. Wilson gets to the 45-yard line for a pickup of about 4 yards. I think I was a little charitable there. It's really 3 yards.
You know, Bill did the interview just a few moments ago with Lloyd Fairbanks, and he made such a good point. He said, you know, the backs are making such good cuts today, they're making anybody look good. And Dwayne Wilson has just done an excellent job at finding those little cracks and seams and working his way through them.
That was an interesting statistic we just showed you. 6 turnovers for Saskatchewan, 3 for Montreal. Don't win too many ball games when you turn the ball over 6 times. Wilson again, the ball carrier, gets inside the 45 to about the 43. Montreal will be short of the first down, and they'll be punting the football. Well, there's a man that you have to admire. Reuben Berry is a a very nice man, obviously very dedicated. He came back at the call of General Manager John Herrera because he loves the game, and he believes that the game is one of real physical toughness. And he said this is a much better club now than it was a year ago at this time. But this has got to be a disappointing defeat for them. Sweet's field goal try. Actually, he wasn't endeavoring to kick the three-pointer. What he wanted to do was knock the ball out of bounds at about the 5 or 4 yard line. Got a penalty flag down right now. There'll be a rough play called against somebody.
But that's right, Pat. Joe Glatt did tell us before the game, in some situations, they feel Don Sweet is accurate enough to try and put that ball out of bounds and not really attempt the field goal. That time into the end zone.
And people would say, well, why would he do that? Simply because they have better control over where the ball is going to go, kicking it that way as opposed to punting it. Got a rough play call upcoming here, I'm sure.
Well, Miles Correll and Marette Ford were having a little set-to down the end zone. That's a mismatch.
I'll say.
Objectionable conduct, number 10, Saskatchewan. First down.
So you heard objectionable conduct against Saskatchewan. Start from the 33-yard line. They picked up a single point, actually, on that play. Ray Elgard had the ball very nearly picked off. The score is Montreal 32, Saskatchewan 16. And we've got 1:11 left to play in this ball game. Montreal will go to 1-1. Saskatchewan to 1 tie, 2 losses in their 3 outings. Nicky Hall ran it himself to the 40-yard line. He picks up about 6 yards. And as Leaf pointed out, that's a dimension that Saskatchewan has when Nicky Hall is in there. He can run with the football. Pow Pow is somewhat reluctant to do so.
I'm surprised they don't gamble on 3rd down.
It's 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. As Leaf pointed out, with under a minute left to play in the ball game, trailing by 16 points. The Riders kick it away. Preston Young on the run is dropped at about the 43-yard line, and the Concordes should be able to run out this clock on this series of downs. I want to thank my old friend Bill Stevenson of CKCK Television here in Regina, and Bob and Dave Lees for all the assistance they've afforded us this afternoon. And I kind of feel sorry for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and their fans, but I'm delighted for the Montreal Concorde and theirs, and they are entitled to some good fortune.
Lions now. Start 1:30.
Nice guys don't have to finish last. He's a nice guy.
He sure is. So cooperative with us. Our preparation for games. They're willing to talk to us and tell us what their plans are. We really do appreciate that.
This is Wilson. And he's up to about the 48-yard line. He just keeps rolling right along. Another 5-yard pickup for him. What an afternoon. 177 is that? 177 yards rushing for Dwayne Wilson, the rookie from Idaho State.
You don't see that too often anymore, do you? Maybe 177 pass receiving, but certainly not rushing.
Give you a good indication, though, the way this game has gone. Dave Lees just points out that in the first half, Montreal had the ball 4 seconds longer than Saskatchewan. This half, it's no contest, 34-26.
Well, I think they're looking for the old lost contacts again.
So in the ball game, an 8-minute difference for the Montreal Concorde, but they've done it all in this second half. 32-16. Saskatchewan will lose this one to the Montreal Concorde, who will be at home next Saturday against the Ottawa Roughriders. Nice to see George Brancato and Don Holtby of the Riders. Haven't seen them for a while. Tilio's pass is thrown out of bounds, and now a flag comes down, and we'll probably have roughing the passer. Jeff Roberts, the newcomer in at defensive tackle, number 71. I don't think there's any question, though, Leaf, that the big play of this ball game was Aaron Hill's interception.
Certainly was, Pat. It seemed to turn the game around when the
Major
Concorde...
foul, unnecessary roughness, 71, Saskatchewan. First down.
But the Concorde were trailing that tip ball up, and he went high, made the interception, took it into the TD, and really got them back on track. I think the way, too, though, the way the Concorde answered that touchdown by Stu Fraser. They took the kickoff, marched it straight downfield, and picked up the touchdown themselves. They just seemed to really do a much better job regrouping in the second half than Saskatchewan did.
Steve Smith is in at quarterback right now. And he was dropped by Billy Jackson, number 45. So again, in this, the second game, Coach Joe Galat uses all of his quarterbacks. He gave Turner Gill the first half. Jerry DiTilio won this one for him, and now Steve Smith gets an opportunity to come in and play. I wonder if Joe will be a little bit concerned about Turner Gill. He has great faith in him. Told me yesterday, he said, don't lose faith in him. He said, he's going to be a great quarterback, just needs some time. Smith takes the pass from center, goes down, and that's it. The Montreal Concorde have defeated the Saskatchewan Roughriders 32-16. The CFL on CTV will continue in a moment. Carling O'Keefe Sports offensive and defensive game stars as selected by our broadcast crew. From the Montreal Concorde, running back Dwayne Wilson is the offensive star. And from the Concorde, defensive halfback Aaron Hill is the defensive star. Let's go to Bill Stevenson.
All right, Dwayne Wilson, congratulations for a rookie. Game number 2, that is. Quite a way to break in.
Thank you. Felt good out there. Lineman blocked good. Nice hot day like Southern California, so I decided to run real hard.
Well, tell me now, you run and break tackles. You run tough.
Yeah, I try to replace a good guy, Lester Brown, and the people of Montreal expect a lot out of me, and I expect a lot out of myself. So I just got to get out there and do what Dwayne can do and run hard and stay up on my feet for as long as I can.
What made the running game go today?
Well, I think the week layoff, we had little bumps and bruises. The guys were able to come back strong. They were hungry.
Good. I'm going to leave you and go over to Aaron because we have run out of time almost. Aaron Hill, congratulations. You had that key play, no question about it, and that touchdown.
All right, thank you. I was just in the right place at the right time. And thanks to my teamwork and hard work, and I never quit, made a big play. I owed it to my teammates.
Well, the coach said this was a key game. Did you go into it feeling that way?
Well, we needed this win. You know, we lost our first game kind of bad, and we had 2 weeks layoff to really think about it. So we had to come out and work hard to try to redeem ourselves, you know?
Thank you very much, Aaron Hill.
All right, thank you. Hi, Mom.
Right. Okay. Pat?
Well, thanks very much, Bill. This is the CFL on CTV. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Canadian Football Hall of Fame, a tribute to the men who have made Canadian football the great sport we know today. Next time you're in Hamilton, be sure to visit this national shrine to Canadian professional football.
This is Dale Isaac again reporting on the Toronto BC game. This is Conrad Holloway in the early moments of the first quarter, finding Lester Brown at the goal line for the touchdown. Argos went up 8-0 at this point. They were up 9-0 when the Lions came back. Ned Armour took it to the 1, and then John Henry White crashed in, capping a 75-yard drive in 6 plays. It was 9-7 Toronto at this point. Then immediately thereafter, the Lions went to work once more. Roy DeWalt goes deep downfield, 57-yard scoring play to speedy Ned Armour, and the Lions were in front on Pasaglia's convert 14-9. But the Argos have come back. Gronk from Holloway for the touchdown. 16-14 Argos. They're now at halftime. Back to Taylor Field.
Montreal Concord 32, Saskatchewan Roughriders 16. Boy, what an important victory for this Montreal football club. And now they go home to play host to the Ottawa Roughriders next Saturday night. We're going to have that game for you on the full CTV network. Let's take a look at our final stats for the afternoon. 362 total yards for Montreal. Look at the rushing yardage, 258. 290 total yards for Saskatchewan. Only 39 yards running the ball, 268 passing. But this is a great, great victory for the Montreal Concord, who even up their record at 1 win, 1 loss. Ottawa leads the Eastern Conference with 4 points, followed by Hamilton with 3, and now Toronto and Montreal are deadlocked with 2 points apiece. In the Western Division, the Edmonton Eskimos, by virtue of that win against Calgary, are in first place pending the outcome of that game in Toronto this afternoon. But right now, let's go down to field level and Bill Stevenson.
Now, who looks happier?
Pat Marsden, I think.
Pat Marsden, you think?
He talked to me last night, and he told us that we had to win the ball game, so we dedicated the game to Pat because he's so good looking and knows a lot about football.
Yeah, the two of you look alike. I know. I heard that last night. Now tell me, what was the key to the victory as far as you were concerned? What did your club do different?
Well, I think they came out the second half and they wanted to win. And we came from behind. We had the go-ahead touchdown that Saskatchewan put on the board. Looked like it put us out of range. The key was to come back, play tough defense. Of course, taking the ball right back, Jerry did a good job directing that drive that put us within 1 point.
Were you a little concerned with Gill?
Yeah, I think he was nervous. I think he got a little bit rattled. They were changing the coverages on him quite a bit. I think it gave him some trouble.
We've run out of time, but I appreciate your coming out, and congratulations on a very big win.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Coach Joe Gallant. All right, Pat.
Well, 32-16 was the final score here at Taylor Field, Regina this afternoon. Montreal full value for their victory. Boy, it was a strange kind of a football game. It was 4-2 with just 30 seconds left to play in that first half. Then Saskatchewan scored, went into the locker room in the lead. But Montreal really did a number in this second half. Just want to remind everybody that the CFL on CTV is copyright and is strictly for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or rebroadcast in whole or in part without the express written consent of the CTV television network is strictly prohibited. On behalf of Lee Pedersen and our old pal Bill Stevenson, this is Pat Marsden saying so long from Taylor Field in Regina, and reminding you that next Friday, Hamilton plays in Calgary.